Hey, Shalom Markins, Rakam Kapashan Jim, London, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom Met to the whole four letters, pushing its truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video. Come across this article. you know, you get an insight into Esau's future, right? that he wants to create, right? And yeah, because talking of metaverse, came out recently, everyone's talking about it, right? And what would this mean for the future, being locked away in the virtual world because real life is too depressing, right? Real life is hell under the rule shit Esau, man. So you got to escape into the metaverse, man. But all these things that Esau's doing is are introducing our methods of control, right? Esau's world domination agenda is multifaceted, right? And Esau comes at all angles, and this is just one of them, and it's to control population, to control life, procreation, and things of these natures, right? And all you got to do is look at the Georgia Guidestones and what it says on there to maintain humanity under 500 million. Okay, we're well beyond that right now, right? And the elites don't like that, So things have been put in place. Like I said, it's multifaceted. Plenty of things going on that Esau is using to, ultimately reduce the numbers, right? We will see what Mr. Gates has spoken about in the past. How he would do it, right? And like I said, there's things multifaceted that Esau's working on, right? And this metaverse, and the idea that we're gonna be having relations and having sex in virtual reality, and that's all part of it, man. That's all madness, because he ain't gonna allow you to do it any other way. Right? And as soon as I read this, the title here, man, it made me think of Demolition Man. All right, and Lord willing, because I got the clip of that particular scene, right? And Lord willing, I can play this, and my video don't get taken down or whatever. So we'll see. But let me just oops. Let me just oh, that's not what was supposed to be on. Let me just
there is, of
read some of the article first. All right. So I've already got a few scriptures to to put on this, but Lord willing, it's edifying, right? But anyways, this is from the Sun, right? Virtually real. Sex in the metaverse will be equally enjoyable as real life act, experts claim. Now, if you believe that, then you're a fool, all right? All these on that don't enjoy sex will say something like that. All right. Anyway, so sex in the metaverse could become as common, right, and equally enjoyable as sex in real life, according to two experts. Just two experts, but they're gonna, promote it, right? It says Daniel Golden. Okay, it's got to be a small hat, man. I'm imagining it already is, right? Vice President of adult site Dreamcam and cam model Carly Evans spoke to the Sun about how the metaverse could evolve sex online. Mark Zuckerberg recently said he thinks people will one day spend most of their time in the metaverse. And that's where you're going to be trapped, man. Because real life is going to be dystopian, like purely dystopian. And that's what Esau's building, man. And you're gonna trap you in a virtual space, man, because you ain't gonna want to leave it. Right? You're gonna have you slaving away in the metaverse, spending credits, all that kind of stuff, buying stupid ass things in the virtual world. You can't buy that shit in real life. You're gonna have you living an alternate life, man. Right? So it's turning out everyday lives virtual will take some adapting and new approaches to common activities, including sex. Golden told the Sun, I think the metaverse could change the sex industry, and the sex industry could change the metaverse. The sex industry has been driving technological innovations for years, since VHS tapes, and I think The expanding technology and room for fantasy in the metaverse will provide a great environment, not just for Dreamcam users, but sexually curious individuals to try new things. To do more wickedness. that's that's what it is. To do more wickedness, right? Because Esau don't want the wickedness to stop. He gets off on that, right? Um, so Golden says he has seen a large jump in the amount of people using his adult cam website since the pandemic. Yeah, OnlyFans, right? And then girls trying to make them bucks, tuck that ass, right? You know, turn into you know, holes overnight. Anyway, he thinks sex in the metaverse has a number of positives and could just become as common as sex in real life, right? And there's something he's just taking all the fun out of it, man. He's a control freak. Esau's a control freak, man, and you know he don't like the union the Most High set up in the spirit, to be on earth, right? Man and women getting together and having children, right? He don't like all of this, man. He don't like the Most High's creation. He wants to do whatever he can to move away from that, right? He wants to be seen as a God that totally revolutionized everything, right? That's how Esau sees himself, right? So he don't mind, growing children in test tubes and labs and that kind of shit. He don't mind that. As weird as it is, right? You don't care, because it's just opposite. It's just opposed to how the Most High does things, right? And that way he can control population. That way he can, say, oh, yeah, if we need more people in the world or not, because he's the one that controls the labs. He's the one that has all the facilities, right? You can't just you're not gonna just have one at home, are you? You know what I mean? Oh, today I'm gonna decide to have a child today. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this machine on and it'll 3D print me a child. So stupidness like that. Now you're gonna have to go see Esau. So Esau's gonna have to get the thumbs up and the okays. So he's gonna have to control that. All right, and that's what I'm saying. There's a whole bunch of it's multifaceted. There's a whole bunch of things that are going on: war, pestilence. There's a whole bunch of stuff down the in the pipeline, and to reduce mankind, right? So eventually Esau wants to control all of that. All right, and the MOTB, that's to come. All right, that's to come. All right, Esau gonna be monitoring you, man. You ain't gonna have no uh unpermissible sex, if that's a correct term to use, man. You ain't gonna be able to have sex when you want, man. Right? You're gonna know. You're gonna know when you're doing your thing, when you're not doing your thing, and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna know when your woman's. Well, no, he probably put a stop to that, man. You women probably gonna not be able to not gonna be able to have children soon. But I was always gonna say, man, you can tell when you're ovulating and all this stuff. Yeah, But Esau wants to know it all. He wants to see it all. He wants to control it all, right? And like I said, this whole metaverse and this whole thing here is just another method of control, all right? And then was it? I'm sure it mentioned something else in there. Right? It says in the metaverse, it doesn't matter what you look like, and users even get to choose, right? This would be great for people who feel insecure. So now it's selling it to you. Oh yeah, because people are insecure about themselves, and yeah, there's fucking insecurities in the world, man. But shit, you want to make the world like this? But yeah, people feel insecure. They can have relations and all that kind of. Yeah, but it's not real. You know. It says they might feel insecure about how they look when they have sex, so they might choose to utilize the metaverse more. Yeah, so you're gonna just go straight digital with the shit, right? Because you're too afraid to have actual relations with people, man. It says people in long distance relationships could also have sex in the metaverse more than in real life, so that they don't lose that physical connection. Yeah. Getting it on in the metaverse would just become a personal preference for how people would like to get their freak on, and that's what it'd be. It'd be filled full of freaks, right? Uh, Let's talk about cyber. Or the world's first cyber brothel also claims to have seen a surge in clientele during the pandemic. The cyber brothel combines the use of virtual reality headsets and sex dolls to make a user feel like they're actually in an intimate situation. Golden and Cam model Evan thinks sex in the metaverse could actually feel the same as sex in real life. Yeah, whatever, man. And it starts talking rubbish. You know, you can see it and you can read it for yourself, man. You can pause it, whatever. Yeah, blah 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 blah. All right, madness. Okay, but like I said, as soon as I read this, man, I thought of this Demolition Man, because that's exactly what this is, right? And this is done in 1993, right? This film was made back in 1993, so what we're 2022. That's almost 30 years ago, right? And Esau has had this in his mind, evidently, for years, a long time before this movie was even made, because there's been other movies like it, right? But it's always been on his agenda. Okay, remember, he controls Hollywood. He controls what gets pushed out there into the world as blockbuster movies and all this kind of stuff. He controls all of that. So he is already programming you, right, for this time that we're living in, because this is what he was gonna do. So now now we're here. It's like, oh, well, it's kind of acceptable now. It's kind of cool, but it's weird. It's freaky. The fact that this movie came out like 30 years ago. And the movie, all right. I'm pretty sure he mentions it here. The movie was set in 2032. Oh, here we go. Right. It is set in a traumatized world. This world is traumatized. This is why, the title of this article here, which I ain't gonna say it all, but it basically, yeah, it's predicting the future, right? And it goes through some of the things in it, right? It says it is set in the traumatized world, set in the fictional metropolis of San Angeles in the year 2032. That's 10 years from now, right? Not saying that obviously, Esau's still going to be here in 10 years, man, because I hope that ain't the case. But what we're seeing is a shift towards this type of future, man. This is what Esau's trying to build, right? The internet of things, the digitization of things, right? He's doing all of this right now, right? He's doing all of this right now, and it's all to really destroy the people, man, and to control the people. All right, but let me just read this little bit here. So, set in the fictional metropolis San Angeles in year 2032, the film depicts a society recovering from an environmental catastrophe. Sounds similar, right? In the film, a massive earthquake. Okay, which this wasn't an earthquake, but it doesn't mean it don't mean one ain't coming soon too. In 2010, unleashes an endless string of diseases and viruses that renders the street empty and destroys the restaurant industry. All right. In fact, one dining spot that remains standing, depending on where you watched it, blah blah blah. Right. So yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing more on that one, right? But you get the point. But yeah, it just tells you things that are resemble today, things that happened in this movie. All right. So you can pause it, read it. But let's see. You know what I'm gonna do? Just so I don't have to redo the video, just in case, I'm gonna pause it here, or stop the video here, record again with the footage, and Lord willing, it'll be part 1 and 2, and you'll be able to see both of them in it, rather than cutting this whole vid. Right. So catch you in a second.